I don't know, for those of you who were here last week, we were a bit rushed in the sense that we didn't maybe have enough time to talk a bit about a little project that I thought that I would start, which was that as I'm not really a local historian, I endeavored to start a local history project to see how I would get on and how the advice and guidance that I get from the lectures would actually sort of help me. So I've been listening tonight to Poverty, and hopefully over the next month we'll begin to explore some of the documents related to poverty. But I just wanted to report back very briefly about my adventures so far in trying to explore the local history of Killwater. And so just one second here, if I sit that there. So what I said I would do is, so this is just kind of a cheaty way of getting access to the internet. So it's just stuck my iPad underneath the display thing. So this is my blog site where I've been kind of trying, well, today I have to confess I logged for the first time some of my discoveries that I've been making about Killwater. Again, just to sort of say, why did I choose Killwater as my local history site? On my mother's side of the family, my mom's family names would be Martin and Ogilvy, and they come from Killwater. So this, you'll notice across the header there that on the left-hand side, this is my great-grandparents. And my grandmother, on my mother's side, her three older sisters, Nellie, Minnie, and Sadie. My grandmother then was born in Canada after the family emigrated around about 1902, 3, 4. This photograph here on the left was taken in 1906. The postcard has been knocking around in my house for as long as I can remember, and it's always been like a true immigrant, one of our most precious documents. Really. We're not even too sure who it's from, and of course when I asked, it provoked this huge flurry of backing and forthing between all sorts of family members and things. In essence, what it says is it says, "Dear Nellie," so it's addressed to the eldest child in the photograph. So we think it must have been a grandparent or an uncle or an aunt or something who has remained behind in Killwater. It says, "Hoping yous are all well as we're doing well here. I should have written it out, which I did in a different slide, but it's ask Bob about me, Rob is doing well, and nothing strange is happening here, quote unquote, the school is almost built." So in this respect, it's an absolutely fascinating, not a fascinating document, but it's an excellent one because the character who wrote it provides you with a number of hooks. It would be quite easy to, and in fact, I've only just actually made the connection there. For today, I went out to, I'm not explaining this very well. What I should say is that by saying that the school is almost built, that's a great way of dating and connecting and verifying and determining and establishing where the community's from and where your family actually is at a time. So I happen to be in Millbrook today, which is just a little sort of village on the edge of Killwater, and in the townland of Drumnahoe, which is where my family are located in the 1901 and 1911 census. And the date on the national school there, which is derelict, with an enormous buddleia kind of growing out of the roof, is 1913. This postcard is dated August 23rd, 1913. So I can be fairly well maybe take an accurate guess that some of my family is still behind in Millbrook, and they're the ones who maybe sent this postcard. So anyway, so the really interesting part, which was kind of why I chose Killwater in the first place, was simply because on the far right-hand side in blue biro, you can't see, but I have a feeling that it was my granddad wrote in the corner, it says, "Great-grandpa was a gardener here." So clearly referring to the castle, Killwater Castle, which is the landed estate house for that area. So the family story has always been that we were gardeners on the estate. And again, for immigrants, this is just, we might as well have been related to the Queen for the pride that we took in this connection. So part of my ambition will be to try and discover whether or not my family actually were gardeners. So do stay tuned, and hopefully I'll be able to report on that in a second. So really, it's just to sort of say that the blog is there. Now, what I've started to do is to do what everyone else says, which is to try and, walk the area. Now, I didn't walk it. I drove out there this morning and took some photographs, which are also on the site. And it was a fantastic day, because what I didn't realize quite to what extent is that the Kilwater parish that I'll be looking at is very much a lowland area of sort of small farms, reasonably well populated, and but very, very remote highland, upland areas, heading up really into the glens. So it's really a parish of two halves, and it'll be quite interesting to see. Not only that, but I've started to and have downloaded almost all of the census returns for 1901 for the entire parish, because I'm just nuts that way. And what I can tell already is that there's all sorts of interesting things, I think, to say about family units, different odd families, and interesting things to say, I think, about Protestant-Catholic relations as well. For there seems to be quite a mix of Protestants and Catholics, certainly in some parts of the parish. Now, really, the next place to start is, once you've kind of gone off and got your photographs, is to have a look at the map. So I want to say thank you to PRONI for letting me have a JPEG. 1450 will get you one of your locality. So you can see here, but this actually is only one of 4 sheets, which are really required in order to cover the whole parish. Okay, so this is just the main parish, and I'm sorry it's so small. You can see it better on the website. But I could have spent a whole day just looking at the map and trying to decide where everything was. The amount of detail is really spectacular. And what was amazing today was actually being able to see the 2 fairy rings, which are still there, which are actually located here on this map in the 1840s with the trees growing up around them. So it's been so interesting to actually map out and to see in the physical landscape today things that have been marked there by someone over 100 years ago. So there should be lots of bits and pieces going up on the blog over the next month or so, and you're very welcome to comment, correct, contribute in your own way as well, and things. So what I need to do now is to pursue what are called valuation records that Anne talked about last month, which is looking at where the fields are actually placed and who they belong to. So it's census and valuation records for me, and then the poverty records that Olwyn's been talking about tonight, as I try and build up my picture of what Kilwater is like. Okay, thank you.